The GT6000 is now officially out of my life. Thank God. And in its place is the tractor you see before you. This tractor is a Roper-built Moto-Mower 716-100. The equivalent tractor of the Roper lineup would be the RT16. First of all, under the hood, if you'll excuse me for a second, is a 16 horsepower cast iron Briggs & Stratton engine with the easy spin starting, which is basically a compression release. It's all relatively complete except for the air filter cover, which can be easily found at the local boneyards. And it's even got this homemade chain hood lash. The decal underneath the hood is preserved in good condition. The battery tray has seen some better days, especially the battery guard. I think that I'll just remove that completely. And it's definitely going to need new terminals because the old ones are corroded so badly that I'm not sure they'll screw on evenly, let alone make contact. But that'll come another time, that's for sure. Haven't inspected a lot of the electrics yet, but they all seem to be there. Definitely going to need a bit of a cleaning. The good thing about this tractor, as opposed to the other Sears that I've been coming across, is the dashboard is made of solid metal, which is a huge relief. I can appreciate a solid metal dashboard that doesn't break or crack or weather or anything like that. Instead of the hour meters that you find on most of the GT 19.9s and stuff, this has got a relatively old working ammeter, and all of the decals on the dashboard are falling off, but they're there. And all the instruments except, I think, the throttle, while it's not seized, it does make a bit of a peculiar noise, and I haven't checked to see what's moving in there and what's not, but most of the instruments on the dashboard, I believe, to have worked. The steering wheel is in interesting condition because it's got this faded plastic cap over the center, and it's not quite straight, as you can see if I turn it there. Kind of unfortunate. And it's also got quite a lot more play than I'm used to seeing with these Ackerman steering systems that most of the Sears garden tractors have. That aside, still not as much play as my GT6000, and this thing's a good decade and a half older. Going around the front again, I'd just like to show you what exactly it looks like down the front, because it's got a different hood than most of the other Sears branded tractors. The headlights are actually in the middle instead of the top. They are halogen, and they do look relatively well. This one's very clear, and this one's a bit frosty, but it should do the job anyway. Here's a rusty grill that was out by the top, and some more of that rusty grill material that's on the bottom. Of course, most of the grill is missing because this belt had to make room for that belt. And also, you can see that most of the mower deck, it's the 48-inch deck, and most of it's complete. Even the deck lifting mechanism works. But I'm sure that this whole mower deck assembly will still need quite a lot of help. And I had another question about what exactly is going on with this thing, because I think this engages the mower, but I haven't gotten it to move very far, the little I've played with it, so that's something I've got to figure out. And around the back you can see it has the high-low transaxle, which is what I was looking for in my next tractor. I ended up selling my first GT6000 because I didn't really like the high-low transaxle for mowing, but then I realized after I got the new GT6000 and it had that peerless fender shift, I really didn't like it. So these transmissions are pretty much the best you can get. And the transmission itself right now, high-low range selector, and everything is a little stiff. Might loosen up when I get it moving, but changing the transmission oil is one of the first things I will do, because it very likely has some water that's been sitting in there, you know, given how long it has been sitting itself. The seat is in relatively good condition, except for the seat mounts, which the bolts have kind of disappeared off the back of them. But granted, you were able to fold this seat up, which is a nice feature that most of the other Sears Suburbans don't have. I will be replacing this very likely because, as you can see, the bottom of the seat is rotten. And we've got this old gas tank. I'm actually going to see if I can get this cap off and take a look, but it appears as though I'll have to do some wrenching on that because that cap is locked in there tight, and I am not sure of the condition of this gas tank, but I'd like to save it if I can because it's the original one for this tractor, and it's got the Moto-Mower decal on the back. I was originally planning to just transplant a plastic gas tank on there until I saw this one. So that gas tank needs a bit of restoration. Something that's a little curious is this number 7 on the back hitch plate, which I kind of like. It was a nice thing to find there, and I reckon they did that at the factory. Here, as you can see, is the muddy, grubby transmission drain. Oh, didn't have the camera pointed just the right way, but golly, that's dirty. This thing's definitely going to need a wash. And it conveniently comes with a 1 7/8 inch ball hitch on the back of it, as opposed to the annoying sleeve hitch that made my GT6000 useless because it couldn't tow any trailers. Anyway, that's pretty much all there is in terms of a brief overview for now, and I'll start work on it. But I thought I'd make a video prior to starting work on it just to show you the as-is condition. This is exactly the way I found it. No washing or anything. And I didn't even put air in the tire, come to think of it. But that tire is going off next, and I'm going to jack up the tractor and test the electrics. So I'll get back to you if anything major happens. Alright, yeah. After a bit of work, the starter was stuck, so I had to free it up, and then we messed around with the engine a bit, got some spark, put some gas and oil in the cylinder, and we're going to see if it fires. Right, so the work site on the Sears Suburban or Moto-Mower, or whatever you want to call it, has descended into chaos. There's tools everywhere, and the thing's half apart. And what we found out last night, as you can see by the spark tester, is there is no spark. That down there is the points cover. So with that, I just have enough time this morning to take it off and inspect the points and maybe clean them. Alright, so points cover is off. Okay, so there's the battery hooked up and everything, and we've put gas in the tank, but I'm still going to need to prime it at the carburetor to make sure the fuel gets up and past everything. So I'll just keep pumping gas into the carburetor